In-N-Out Burger is a beloved fast food franchise. They are wildly popular and expanding everywhere, except for in one location. Welcome to the only In-N-Out Burger that has ever closed. This is a historic location. You can see the iconic building, but there's a fence around it. The signs have been ripped down, and the windows are all boarded up. Why did this In-N-Out Burger close? Well, because people were getting robbed in the drive-thru lane. 1,000 different criminal incidents of people being robbed while trying to get a burger in the drive-thru lane here. In-N-Out? Yeah, In-N-Out got the out of here. The reason that California has descended into a third world criminal hellhole is because of Democrat soft on crime policies that defund the police and that view the criminals as the victim and not the tax-paying citizen. Speaking of being a victim, we were literally robbed while we were filming this video. Middle of the afternoon, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've already smashed. Man.
Okay, so we all know that the California dream is now the California nightmare because California is in a state of decay under the leadership of Gavin Newsom, under the leadership of the left-wing activists who have taken over the state with the help of the left-wing voters in California. So we're going to talk about a crime story in Oakland, California, because it's a disaster. That city has fallen. And we're going to get into some of the ignorance of the California leadership in Sacramento, what they're doing up there, and we're also going to talk about the buyer's remorse of the voters who actually implemented a dumbass policy. So let's get into the first story. A gas station, this is how brazen these people are, a gas station was robbed by a mob of hooligans in broad daylight. This one is not too far from the Oakland airport, and they say that the people who travel to Oakland, which is something I wouldn't advise you to do, but the people who travel to Oakland, the visitors, are easy prey, easy targets. They stop to get some gas. They stop to get something to eat at a fast food restaurant. They get robbed. So we're going to look at this story here of this gas station being robbed in broad daylight because the criminals know that they can get away with it. Let's take a look.
Frustration and disbelief. A gas station in Oakland raided by dozens of robbers. The owner says police are not responding until several hours later.
Things has to be fixed somehow. Things has to be, the citizen of Oakland has to have some security.
Thankfully, no one working in that store was hurt. So far, no arrests have been reported. Good evening on this Friday. I'm Christina Rendon.
And I'm Christian Captain. It all happened early this morning on Hegenberger Road in Oakland. New at 10, KTVU's Amber Lee spoke with the gas station's owner about what happened during that robbery and the changes he now says he wants to see. Right, Amber?
That's right, Christian. The owner tells me he's sharing his story and sharing the surveillance video to let everyone know how bad things have gotten, and he's demanding action. Surveillance video shows a brazen flash mob-style robbery of the 76 gas station mini market on Hagenberger Road in Oakland. It happened early Friday morning around 4 o'clock. Dozens of people ransacked the store. Owner Sam Marday tells me the free-for-all lasted about 40 minutes.
This is the hardest thing you could ever go through, you know, especially if you've been put in sweat and tears day in, day out.
This 24-hour business was offering only window service during the overnight hours. But Marday says the thieves broke in through the front door while 2 employees were inside.
You can see the shattered glass right here. This is the way they entered.
He shared this video of the damage left by the thieves. They emptied shelves and display cases of merchandise, along with cash totaling $25,000 from the register and the ATM that had just been filled for the holiday weekend. Marday says he and his family had just taken over this business last August.
Building yourself for the last 10 months. And then you're back to square one.
He tells me he is aware that this area is a hotspot for thieves because of its proximity to the Oakland airport, and travelers are considered easy targets.
I did not think it's this terrible. I thought maybe once every blue moon.
Marday suspects the thieves are people who participated in a sideshow in the area. He says police did not respond to the robbery until almost 9 hours later.
It's very disheartening. I'm scared to go out after dark, and I don't know. It's alarming.
While we were at the store Friday afternoon, a police unit pulled up and parked in the lot. We were told it is part of the violence suppression unit stationed at known crime hotspots. City Council member Treva Reed, who represents the area, issued a statement saying, in part, I continue to advocate and work to secure increased public safety resources and response, urging the mayor to prioritize our district's demands.
Well, as of right now, we don't see any improvements, not even a little bit. Hopefully, the right people will hear this message and start making the right moves, to save the city.
What are you going to do now, moving forward?
Rebuild and pray.
Council member Reed says more does need to be done and that those involved must be identified and held accountable.
The guy at the end, the owner, what's your solution? To pray? I'm just going to collect some insurance money. I'm going to come out of my own pocket to rebuild my gas station. I started it less than a year ago. I didn't know that the crime was this bad, but they just fleeced me. A gang of hooligans tore my store apart, but I'm just going to pray. I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to sink more money into it. I'm just going to pray it doesn't happen again. Good luck with that. If I was him, I would be getting the hell out of Dodge. Like other stores have done, like In-N-Out. The only store they ever closed was the one in Oakland, and that's not because of money, but because of crime. I can give a long list of stores and businesses that have got the hell out of Dodge because this place is a fallen city. So now that Newsom and his left-wing activists in Sacramento are learning how foolish their policies are, and the voters who voted to put in Prop 47, they're trying to reverse course. So Newsom is allegedly supporting an alternate prop, which is going to make changes to Prop 47. Prop 47 is infamous for implementing the policy that if you rob somebody for less than $1,000, it's a misdemeanor, and more than likely, 9 times out of 10, the cops are not even going to show up. We've seen videos of people going to Walgreens, which also closed several stores in California. They go in there with a grocery bag, walk down the shelves, and just go shopping. And walk right the hell out because the police are not going to show up. We've seen it in gas stations. We've seen even people robbing stuff more than $1,000, like jewelry stores. They're getting hit. Police don't show up, or they'll show up hours later. So let's take a look at one of the sheriffs out there who's actually against this, and Gavin Newsom is actually trying to take his side. So let's take a look at one of the sheriffs trying to explain what they're trying to do this election.
I know. So in the most simple terms, what are you pushing as a reform of Prop 47?
Very simple. It's just a new proposition because Prop 47 was a voter-approved initiative. So the only way to fix it is the voters have to approve it. So we are proposing not a repeal of Prop 47, but a new proposition we're labeling as the Homeless, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act that will basically do that. Repeal the 3 worst parts of Prop 47 that law enforcement, prosecutors, even our public defenders know that have been a disaster from the very beginning. They just haven't been addressed. So we're hoping to get this on the ballot. We believe we have enough signatures. There's a few more weeks to go, but we have the right number. It just depends on whether or not we qualify the number of signatures and then get it back to the voters. Overwhelmingly, polling shows that Prop 47 needs to be repealed, and this we hope to do it this way.
So you need 546,000 signatures.
We got that going on. The voters look like they regret putting in Prop 47. Maybe they were duped because remember, California is filled with leftists, and most of these leftists, they simply listen to their politicians, the propaganda coming from their politicians. They don't actually research and read what's going on, so they'll just take their politicians' word for it. Like on the larger scheme, Obamacare, he explained it to the people. They took his word for it without actually looking at what it actually does, and many people simply regretted supporting Obamacare, but that's a different story there. But it's an example showing how leftists vote. So Gavin Newsom sold them a bill of goods and now they're saying, no, we need to change course. We don't like this anymore, even though we voted for it. Sacramento City attorney reportedly threatened to fine Target store for reporting theft crimes. We got them having buyer's remorse, but at the same time, this California disease is still running rampant throughout the state. We got these idiots trying to find stores. You got a big retailers who's bringing in tax money, bringing in jobs. Then you got the hooligans. The California government, Sacramento city attorney, is taking the side of the hooligans. Why are you constantly calling us reporting crimes? Do we need to find you? You getting on our nerves. We know you getting robbed. We know criminals are running rampant through there, but we don't want to hear it. Don't call us 10 times a day about some goddamn criminals. So let's see what's going on here. The city of Sacramento, California's legal department threatened to fine a popular retail store for public nuisance over numerous calls to police after thieves stole from its Land Park location multiple times, according to a report. You can't make this stuff up. The Sacramento Bee reported that a person with knowledge of the warning, who wanted to remain anonymous out of fear that they could be retaliated against, said Sacramento officials warned that they would issue administrative fine to the target at this location during the past year. A police spokesperson confirmed the location to the publication after being asked about the alleged warning. After learning about the city's warning and comparable actions across the state lawmakers added an amendment to a retail theft bill outlawing these types of threats towards businesses from authorities because it went too public, it went too viral, too many people finding out about it. You're saying that stores constantly calling you because they're constantly being hit with hooligans, people coming in, robbing them, acting a fool in the store, stealing, fighting, doing all types of vile stuff. We got people getting drugged out in the parking lot. And the business owners are calling for help, calling the authorities for help. And help is saying, you're getting on my nerves. This is a nuisance. Why are you constantly calling us saying that you got crackheads in your parking lot, that you got thieves and hooligans fighting in your store? Why are you calling us? We don't want to hear it. We know it's our job, but we just want to sit on our asses and get paid and let the crime spread throughout the country. But again, the citizens voted for this. But it looks like you got some reasonable people trying to make an amendment saying that they need to chill out, that the city attorney shouldn't do stuff like this. And of course, Gavin Newsom, he has big aspirations. Is he going to run this year? Is he going to run in 2028? It looks like he was trying to set himself up to run in 2028, but he has to strike while the iron is hot, and he may have a big opportunity to run this year. So he needs to make sure his reputation is as good as possible, even though his state is an absolute hellhole. The city where he lives in, the governor of California, is in Sacramento. His city is fallen. His state is a hellhole. And he got destroyed and called out by Ron DeSantis in a debate they had some months ago. He still wants to try to polish himself. He wants to put lipstick on a pig, polish the turd of the condition of his state, so he can possibly convince voters in other states to vote for him for president. So he's going to say, yeah, I support this. You shouldn't be threatening business owners who are simply calling for help. We need to make an amendment to Prop 47 and say if you do steal something less than $1,000, it's still a felony. We need to actually start arresting criminals because he's a fraud. This man supported and pushed these policies that have killed his state, ran out untold amount of businesses. But now he wants to pretend like he's against it when he was pushing it. So let's see what he got going on. Governor Gavin Newsom, Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas, and State Senator Mike McGuire are pushing a package with 14 bills that tighten penalties on retail theft offenses. The lawmakers believe their legislation will help deal with retail theft crimes rather than pass changes to Prop 47. Last month, California Secretary of State announced that petitioners had garnered more than enough signatures to place a measure to reform Prop 47 on the November ballot. Prop 47, a voter-approved initiative passed in 2014, loosened the penalties for drug and theft crimes in the state and has been blamed for California's rampant theft problem. Well, Prop 47 isn't the only thing. It helps with it, but you got a lot of addiction going on, a lot of drugs going on. The massive homeless problems is in large part due to drugs and alcohol. People getting mental issues because they're addicted to these substances. And they end up on the street and people end up committing all these crimes. And of course, you got the gangs and all of that going on. Defund the police, be extra loose with drug use, stuff like that. It all combined to put California in the state where it is now. And on top of that, you got abject poverty. The cost of living in California is crazy. Crazy. I don't see how people live out there. I wouldn't dare go out there and pay $1 million for some trash ass house with roaches, bars on the windows, hearing police sirens all day. $1 million to live in Compton? But people are doing it. And that has culminated to make cities like this fallen. Oakland is a fallen city. Sacramento, fallen city. California an absolute hellhole. We need to build a wall around California. Talking about build a wall around Mexico. Build a wall around California. Stop them from spreading their idiocy across the country. Shortly after the measure to reform Prop 47 was approved, legislators in a Democrat-controlled Capitol in Sacramento began debating legislation that they say would address crime in the state. So these pro-crime, anti-police Democrats, the crime has gotten so bad that they don't have a choice. And like I said, Gavin Newsom is trying to save face and pretend that he's trying to take care of his state. Critics say the move is essentially a poison pill that Democrats will use to discourage people from voting to fix Prop 47 in November by arguing that doing so would undo the legislation that combats crime. These guys are idiots, man. That's all I can say about the California leadership. They're just dumb. I don't even think that it's some grand scheme, like some maniacal super villain saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn California into a hellhole. It's not even that. It's just, they're dumb. These guys are just making stupid decisions. Newsom keep insisting that reports of theft are dropping. Well, we know why. Not only are thieves let off without even a slap on the wrist, but now the victims are being threatened for even reporting crimes. That may be some insight right there, some good insight, because Newsom can manipulate the stats like this. Because you can say, well, we have a certain amount of retail thefts per year going on in California, and somebody like Ron DeSantis can use that against them. But if Newsom and them can threaten the business owners to not even report the crimes, Newsom can say, look at this, the crime is going down. He's artificially forcing his stats to go down by bullying his business owners. Everyone can see that Newsom's pro-criminal policies are a failure, no matter how much his allies try to cover it up. Criminal defense attorney Nicole Castronova also weighed in on the matter, telling Fox News Digital politicians in California are leaving citizens out to dry as crime begets crime. Lawmakers have also allowed smash and grab robberies to terrorize our cities. As a consequence, retailers are leaving major cities in droves, taking jobs with them. Castronova explained that losing jobs directly relates to an increase in crime. So here it is, that gas station right here. Look at it. Wow. I mean, they were robbing this store in slow motion, taking their sweet ass time because they knew even if some cop does happen to show up, they're just going to get away with it. It doesn't even matter. She also said retailers are being victimized by the government failing to protect them. Now the government seeks to silence those retailers, and in turn, manufacturers lowers crime rates. Exactly. Manipulating the stats, the crime stats. No citizen should ever be penalized for lawfully calling upon his government for protection. Yeah, this place is a disaster. I think you guys get the gist of it. California has fallen. Oakland, LA, Sacramento. People can't even safely fly into these places without getting robbed. We saw the YouTuber at the beginning. He went to do a little video about it, and allegedly he ended up being robbed. I did a video some months ago about this big business, this big medical business. I think it's the largest medical business in the state. And they told their employees, look, during lunch break, don't go down there to get a sandwich, to get a cheeseburger, bring your lunch. Or we might have to build a cafeteria and start making lunch for y'all, because that's how disastrous this state is. So let me know what you guys think. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.